Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another review. Today I'm taking a look at the high-grade Gundam Daddy Coffin Happy Birthday Edition. And this right here, as you can tell from the color of the box, is a premium Bandai exclusive. So that does mean I got this from those absolutely fantastic people over at Bai. And if you want one of your own, you will definitely find one over there. Now let's get to it. So busting open the box, and as you would expect, this is very similar to the standard rubrics we would have seen before, just like it says on each of the runners in here. Not each, there's a couple of new ones. But yeah, a lot of these do say high grade 1/44th scale Gundam rubrics, and these are from 2022. So we've been waiting on this particular variation of this particular mobile suit for quite some time. So even though this kit right here is similar, it is not the same. 4 of the runners we would have seen before, but these 3 are brand new. So on this one right here, this is Runner G. We've got a lot of the parts for making up the backpack with the missile segments, or maybe they were Gund bits, I can't really remember. We've got the rifle right here and some nice white sections up here. The other 2 runners are very similar for the most part. That's runner F1 and F2. So again, it's a lot of parts for those little bit segments. We look like we have some kind of in-flight variants of them, and the rest of the armor section for those cool wing binder container segments. So at least this right here is new. So when it comes to the build of this version of the Gundam Rubrics, this is pretty much identical for the most part, especially in the actual main mobile suit itself compared to what we would have seen before with the pink version. And just a little bit of a run through that, it's got a full inner frame almost for the most part. It's an absolutely fantastic build, and just everything about it just feels so good. It did back in 2022 and it still does. The new color scheme, well, it can mark a little more than the white on the older version, but if you just kind of keep cleaning everything up as you go along, it's going to be absolutely fine. I didn't do really any cleanup on mine just for the sake of the review, but everything worked out nicely and it does look beautiful. As for the new parts, however, because that is what is important, first off, the only thing that is really different on the main mobile suit itself is the head and the chest. The chest has a new little white section for in the front for using with a new blue armor segment. This blue armor segment is exactly the same pretty much as what we would have seen on the pink version, but it's missing one little tiny little bit of overlapping armor. Otherwise, it's exactly the same. So when it's attached on, it's not really all that different to really see. When it comes to the head, 2 big armored sections on this are brand new for this kit, and that is to take away those bunny ears we would have seen on the classic version. But besides that, the whole body of this is exactly the same as what we would have seen before, including the nice sticker for the shell unit in the chest. Again, not as nice as what we would have seen in the very first release from this line, being the pink rubrics, which had that nice pre-molded shell unit. This one, it's just the sticker, clear part, combo. The head also has color separated eyes as well, which is worth noting, but I did use the included stickers for over them just because they pop a little bit more than the standard eyes. What is truly 100% unique for this is the backpack, and I am impressed. I haven't seen backpacks like this, well, on a high grade ever. This is something a little bit more akin to what you'd see on a master grade, and my mind is really remembering the master grade or even the real grade Talgies to some degree. So basically these are gun bit canisters. The way you actually build these up is we've got 2 sections inside that's sandwiched together. Into this then we add all of the Chilonian bomb gun bit segments. They all just pop in, and you've got 5 aside in each, making 10 for a maximum of 20 inside. Now I'll wind back to these in a minute because there's one annoying thing about them. After that then you build the container for around them, which has opening panels on either side. These are very, very nicely designed, again with a little bit of a Talgies kind of feeling. They all built together very nicely and feel great. This is very, very, very detailed. Then when it's done, you just pop them onto the core section of the backpack, which I almost forgot to mention. That's just 3 pieces and 2 verniers attaching into that, and it all attaches on and it looks absolutely phenomenal. Now as for the bad aspect about this, so what you get when you're done is this. It is phenomenal. It is really nice when they open up just like so. Now I've used some of the stickers inside of this. It may not look too bad from a distance, but these are the most fucking obnoxious stickers I've ever had to deal with in my life. So yeah, they look like this, so they're like the usual kind of circular ones that don't really fit onto what they're going to attach to. But the worst thing is, on these, the detail is recessed. So these are actually larger than the surface hole, so you have to kind of try and jam them down inside, which is nigh on impossible. Now, I just took a flying ninja kick of a test just kind of at random to see what it would be like if I used a Gundam marker, and it just looks so much better. And the worst thing about it is it was so much easier. You do kind of get a little bit around the outside there, but still it looks so much better. I also tried a red one, which looks like this. I did end up scraping it a little bit by accident, but if I was going to use this red again, I would chrome up the inside first with the chrome marker. Just mainly because the red itself does kind of rely a lot on the color behind it. It's a little bit on the translucent side. But yeah, this is going to actually take some time. I'm trying to get the backlog out of the way, but this is going to actually take some time out of the actual review bit that's going to come after. But I want to do all of these in green with the Gundam marker. So let's get that done. So just in case you're not too familiar with Gundam markers, these are absolutely fantastic and kind of like a must-have weapon in your gunpla arsenal. They're just like a one-and-done kind of thing. You don't need a primer, they just go right on. The colors are usually quite good and they're designed for on gunpla plastic. Now the red I'm using right here, this is not the red I used before. This is actually from the Gundam Fine Edge Set 2. And actually seems a little brighter and more powerful than the EX marker I used just before that. As for the green that I'm using, that is from the Gundam Metallic Marker Set 2. It is metallic yellow green, and the reason I'm using this as opposed to another green I do have a standard metallic green is the weird thing about the color on Bandai stickers is it's a funny green that's not quite pure green, it's not quite yellow green, it's almost in between. Now there may or may not be a Gundam marker for using with this that matches exactly, but this is the best I had at the time and it looks pretty cool. All you do then is just let it dry a little bit and then either using a blade or some kind of sanding stick, just sand off the excess from around the outside and then you've got yourself a pretty clean, nice metallic center that's way better than those shitty stickers. Now, just gonna have to rush on through the review. So jumping now into the aesthetics, and there's the high-grade daddy casket in all of its glory, and I have to say, compared to the pink Rubrus which we would have seen before, which is, well, an absolutely gorgeous kit, this to me always has been the cooler design. I just love the color scheme, and the backpack, the combo is so great. It really does have that prototype feel about it, and this kit captures that perfectly. So yeah, essentially physically this is exactly the same as that kit we would have seen before, which is the high-grade Rubrus or the high-grade Lfrith, depending on what version you watched. So yeah, when it comes to the overall look of this, I would say with the robot, it's about 90% recycled, just in a different color, which you would expect being the exact same mobile suit really. The backpack is 100% new, and what we get new besides that is the head and the chest. Let's take a closer look. So jumping in for a little bit of a closer look now. First up, the shell unit right here, at least the clear part on it is straight from the standard Gundam Rubrus. So there is no pre-molded section in here, just clear plastic, and you've got the sticker underneath, so it doesn't pop quite as much. What has been changed in the chest here is we don't have an additional little bit of armor that pops up here. That's all that is really different. I'll also mention now that I see it, the red that you're seeing inside the chest, I painted that myself because I love when those little eyes have at least a little, I know they're not eyes, but they look like eyes to me, have a little bit of a shine, so I just added a bit in there. There's no stickers or anything for those, and the stickers that are in here are just for the eyes and the head cameras. The only color correcting stickers we do have in here are for on the knees, just here and here, again, like we would have seen on the classic version, the pink version of this particular mobile suit. The head in here does share a lot of parts, but the overall top part, which is all one piece, I forgot about that. That is such a cool move. But yeah, the top of the head and the bottom of the head that just make up the kind of dome on top, that is what is new. Just so this one doesn't have ears, again, compared to the one that we would have seen before. But what completely sets this apart is this absolutely gorgeous backpack. Actually, on saying that, I do see that we do have a couple of hollow aspects right there. That's a little bit of a letdown if you're looking at it directly from the back. That doesn't look too premium, but again, it's not the worst. Two verniers right there, and the way these open up is absolutely incredible. So they can swing up over the shoulder, just like so. We do have little thrusters in the bottom. On the top, we've got these little white cap sections. This can then pop open. I've got nothing loaded in this side, so that's what it looks like when it's opened up, firing off those little bombs. And then on this side, once again, I did actually paint these because the stickers for these were not good at all. But that Gundam marker worked out incredibly well. So jumping into that full 360 spin so you can see everything for yourself about this particular kit. Again, 90% the same as the other Gundam Rubris in the body besides the color, the chest sections and the head. The backpack is brand new. It's almost so tall-geesy in a way, the way it opens up, but instead of thrusters, it's got those gunned bits. Overall, incredibly impressed by this. I feel like I've been waiting for this for so long. I do have another 2 of them in the mail because that's just how much I love this version of this suit, and it is totally awesome looking. It hasn't even been panel lined or cleaned up. That's just how nice a kit it is. So jumping into a bit of a size comparison, there's a beside the average size Gundam being the RX-78-2, so as you can see it's just a little bit more than average size up the way. Lots of nice bulk though. Beside another couple of main Gundams being the high-grade Gundam Mark II and the high-grade Zeta Gundam 0088, beside the high-grade Exien the Dunamis from Gundam 00, a couple of iron-blooded Orphans Gundam frames, that being Gundam Barbatos and the Gundam Hajiroboshi, beside a couple of other Lfrith Rubrises, I can't remember what this one over here is called, is it Anocta or Anavata, I can't remember, and the Rubris Jew. Beside the high-grade Caliburn and the high-grade Gundam Aerial Rebuild, and there's the high-grade Aerial and the high-grade original Rubris. I'm not going to take them down off the stands because they're part of a display, but that is what they look like. So jumping now into the accessories, and here's everything that comes with this version of the Gundam Rubris. Now we've got the beam rifle right here, as well as these variants of the gun bits that are up on the shoulders. So there isn't really a whole lot in here. Let's check them out. So first up, I'm going to be getting it up on the air using the simple stand as usual. Get that up inside of the Rubris hole. Anyway, when it comes to the accessories, here's the first one, and it is the beam rifle. This is extremely plain. It's just made out of 2 pieces and 2 pieces only, so it is split right down the middle with the seam. We've got a sticker for this side up here, as well as one underneath right there. Overall, though, it's not the greatest beam rifle I've ever seen. Getting it equipped onto the unit is just simply slide it down into the hand like so, and you are done. It's a nice size, definitely, and in the hand it does look quite cool. It doesn't draw the eye too much, but it looks like it'll get the job done. Now we'll mention that cool beam effect that we had with the standard version of this particular mobile suit is included, but this can't be used with any of the weapons that are in here, but it is worth noting because maybe you could kind of cannibalize it or something for some kind of custom. Anyway, getting into a little bit of a pose with this particular rifle, and I'm just going to default to the simplest shooting pose I can think of, and that is the Ale Strike Gundam kind of pose. So it poses extremely well, it looks good, and there is what it will look like when it is in a pose, spinning around a little bit. So next up in here, we've got these various little bits known as the Chilonians. So there are 2 types in here. That is this type here with the parts pointing backwards for storage. And then we've got 6 of these ones right here, which are them basically flying about or connecting or attaching onto an enemy mobile suit to, well, straight up explode. I think green is when they're not activated, and red is basically when they're about to go off. Now, I will mention, like I said, I did paint these instead of using the stickers because the stickers, well, were absolutely shit. So these can be displayed on little stands just like this. The stand is not included. These, which from Mercury stands, are sold separately. And you do need a little bit of an adapter, which is this kind of 3mm peg to 3mm peg adapter. It does come with these particular little stands, but in case you want to use another stand, you will need these with it because the business end of these has a point like this. Now, I'm not sure why. I can only assume it's so you can attach them onto another mobile suit so they look like they're about to go off, because sometimes we do have a bit of a 3mm point like that, so you can pop it on, it looks like it's attached, ready to explode. That's the only reason I can assume why. These kind of tucked ones right here, these have a standard 3mm hole in the back, so you can just grab yourself a base without one of these guys, and these can also be attached onto these just like that. So when it comes to these around here, these have a lot of articulation. So we've got a regular peg right here to rotate them like that, and it's a ball joint up here, as well as a joint hinge section right here. So these have a lot of movement, so they can be used in a way like kind of wings or wing binders to actually accent a pose very nicely. So that is pretty cool. They can also flip round over the shoulder because these are launchers, so they open up just like so with a nice hinge, and there's your racked up little explosive gun bits on that side and on this side too, so you can pose it up ready to fire all of them off just like that. There is an opening section in both the front and the back, so this can obviously fire out a whole ton of these. I did not Wait, I did. There's some in the back of that one. It's just this one that doesn't have any. I don't even know how I have it set up. But yeah, when you have them launched out, you can actually have a segment like this too, so it does actually look like it fired them all off. I thought I'd done that on both of them, but I guess I'd totally forgotten, because my plan was to do this right here, which is just, they're exactly the same, so you can actually just flip them if you want to. So it's going to leave one side loaded up and one side not loaded up for poses, but I'm super running out of time because I did spend time painting these, which is not really something I would do during a backlog busting bonanza. But I guess, yeah, it is what it is now. When these are, well, when you have them in the stored kind of way that you have them, you just slot them in like so. There's a 3mm peg as well as 3 little slots holding each of them in, and they hold in perfectly and they look fantastic in there. But yeah, again, you can take them out just like so when you have a whole bunch of them flying around the air about to explode. But yeah, that right there is it for the review, and this is another fantastic kit. It is equal pretty much to the original high-grade Rubris or the original high-grade Gundam Lfrith that we would have seen before. That I did rank Gundarium tier, but that did break the mold when it came to high grades. This one right here is just continuing that mold. And even though it is fantastic, we do not have a pre-molded nice chest segment, and those stickers in the back kind of suck. So I'm going to relegate it down to Platinum tier a little bit, which is not a bad thing. This is a fantastic, awesome kit. I can't wait to build another couple of them because I want the whole squad. And I absolutely highly recommend it. Visually, it is fantastic. The color scheme to me is even nicer than the original. When it comes to the accessories, they're very nice. I do recommend painting those little gund bits because it does look a lot better than the stickers. The rifle is a bit and I didn't actually touch on the articulation in this video, but if you want to see the articulation on this kit, just check out the original video of that pink one. It's exactly the same. This has better, if not, well, it is definitely a little bit better articulation than something like the Aerial, and it is fantastic and so addictive to pose. Fantastic kit. Anyways, always thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews, and I'll see you next time. As always, I can't finish this video without special thanks to those who support the channel on the memberships as well as over on Patreon, including Abraxas, Caleb Engelhardt, Joe, RG59061, Shadow Wolf 179, 10 Soldier YT, and Van Fawn.